Hello and welcome. Tonight, rowdy session in the Senate as the upper chamber wields the big stick. Suspends Senator representing Bauchi Central, Abdul Ningi, for 3 months following heated debate over his claim of purported budget padding. Inspector General of Police orders a new police mobile force base and deployment of special forces to Kuriga community in Kaduna State as bandits abduct another 61 people in fresh attack on Kajuru, also in Kaduna State. And army troops uncover a factory used for manufacturing of guns and other security materials in the forest in Delta State, arrest 8 suspects, including the main suspect, his parents and his sister.
On business news tonight, Central Bank raises customs duty FX rate again by 1.9% following a further drop in value of the naira.
On sports news tonight, Nigeria's Rivers United face title holders USM Ojas of Algeria in the CAF Confederation Cup quarter-finals following draw conducted in Cairo, Egypt earlier today.
And from Abuja, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, highlights challenges hampering exports of some of the nation's agricultural produce at the launch of the Standards Trade Development Facility in Abuja.
And in international news from London, 3 Ukraine-based Russian paramilitary groups say they have crossed into Russia and are now fighting government troops there.
The Senate takes center stage today following the allegation of purported padding of the 2024 budget by the senator representing Bauchi Central, Senator Abdul Ningi. But while plenary started like a normal one, it gradually drifted into a rowdy session with the upper chamber divided over the issue as the debate progressed. The disagreement from one of more than 3 hours lasted, with the Senate President maintaining that there was no padding of the budget. At the end, Senator Abdul Ningi was suspended by his colleagues for 3 months. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Umezoke reports.
It all began with this controversial interview granted by a lawmaker from Bauchi Central's Senator Abdul Ningi to the BBC Hausa, suggesting that 3 trillion naira from the 2024 budget might have been padded. The interview sparked a huge debate, and so when plenary resumed, it was not the usual.
Page 693.
A motion is raised on a matter of urgent importance by the chairman of the Senate committee in charge of the budget. He reads part of the transcripts from the controversial Hausa interview.
Apart from what the National Assembly did on the floor, there was another budget that was done underground which we didn't know. And I have the documents.
The man in the eye of the storm jostled to speak to defend himself.
My attention was called to this particular forward submission. And we chatted. Myself, Senator Dab, Senator Karimi, Senator Medoki. And they showed their anger about this particular statement. And I said, listen to the Hausa version. In the Hausa version, did you hear me mention Apagio's name? Did you hear me mention padding? We discovered some senatorial districts in this particular document. Some senatorial districts have up to 120 billion. And my senatorial district has just 2 billion.
The lawmakers also have a bone to pick with Senator Sumaila Kawu from Kano State.
We are not in any way intend to undermine either as a president, Senate president, or the Senate. We are matured enough.
Use your mic and read out what you posted.
Apparently, we discovered 3 trillion was inserted into the budget without location. I am not the originator and I am not the maker of this.
Look at the content, look at the English. Is it senators? Is that our quality? We will deal with the issue of the Senate of the budget, but we have to also deal with our ethical standard in the Senate.
We are going forth and back on these issues and coming up with issues of the budget and individual issues concerning what came to our various constituencies. If we want to go into those issues, all of us are called people. Some senators here, so-called senior senators, got 500 million each. I am a ranking senator, I didn't get. Did I go to the press?
The lawmaker had struck a chord as the Senate immediately descended into a rowdy session before the Senate President restores calm by invoking the Senate's rules.
The Senate, or if it is in the committee, shall be silenced so that the President of the Senate, or sitting as chairman, may be heard without any interruption.
When it was calm, Senator Jaribe quickly offers to clarify his earlier statement.
I said 500 million for projects. I was drawing from the statement Abdul Ningi made to me.
These are not trivial matters for the lawmakers, many of whom sought apologies or penalty for what they described as outright falsehood.
If one lacks integrity, and we are found to associate with anyone who lacks integrity, they say it is birds of the same feathers that flock together. The confidence of the Nigerian people in the institution of the National Assembly. The way to go, in my view, is for both of them to recount what they have said and to say that they didn't say so, or if they said so, that they made a mistake of the head, not of the heart, and ask that they be forgiven.
We must do the right thing. Rather than pandering to our egos and the rest of them, I think we should do the right thing by tendering an unreserved, unconditional apology to the Senate.
I'm also speaking as a Southerner. For the first time, the attempt to take the election of the leadership of this Senate beyond June 13, 2023 must stop. Mr. President, sitting as chair, make no mistake about it. A few people who fear they will not give you more than 1 year to spend in this chair want to do everything possible before the 13th of June to remove you. I am not protesting. If I got anything here, it is not money put in my pocket. They are constituency projects given to my constituents. And I'm not apologetic about it. Mr. President, please let us go into the prayers and do the right thing.
My first prayer is that the Senate should suspend Senator Abdul Ningi for an initial period of 12 months.
Again, a rowdy session ensued over the length of the suspension before leniency prevails.
Civil Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central, having posted falsehood through his interview on BBC Hausa Service and other media, and is hereby suspended from all activities of the Senate, including being found within the precincts of the Senate for the next 3 months.
The Senate now awaits a written apology from the suspended senator, Senator Abdul Ningi from Bauchi Central, any moment from now, which will be considered on the next legislative sitting. Now, it's not clear whether or not he will actually apologize or seek redress in court like other lawmakers in the past. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuki, Channels Television News.
And still on the allegations of budget padding, co-founder of Budgets, a private organization dedicated to analyzing and simplifying Nigerian national budgets, Seun Onigbinde, claims that the members of the National Assembly indiscriminately inserted constituency projects to gain large allocations for their benefit. Mr. Onigbinde also says that this issue originated from the 9th National Assembly and faults the presidency for not properly scrutinizing the budget. He was speaking on our political program, Politics Today.
Everybody was indiscriminately getting an allocation for an amount. Some people got 500 million. We've done the analysis. Some senators that had projects around 13 to 11 billion in their constituency. And it looks like it was a free-for-all. And before this budget was passed, we said the president needs to have a grip of the budget. This is the same thing Muhammadu Buhari's government did. And why he spent so much, he borrowed so much, and he achieved so little. This did not start with the National Assembly. This started with the 9th National Assembly. This whole arbitrarily indiscriminate insertion of projects by the National Assembly, where, because I agree to some extent that appropriation powers belong to the National Assembly, but powers must be used in a responsible manner. That is what I believe. The National Assembly has gotten to a point that it now, after the budget has been presented by the executive, it carves out an amount for itself. It allocates those amounts to each of the senators. Let's not forget, previously, there was a constituency fund for projects, and that was 100 billion naira. And everybody agreed that if that is the sacrifice you are going to make to allow the budget to be passed, if that's what you're going to use to oil the wheels of budget passing, let us have that. And if you're going to raise that to 200 billion or 250 billion, considering that the budget is now have gotten bigger compared to previous years, that's fine. But for you to now go and add over 7,000 projects to the budget at over 2.2 trillion naira, it's ridiculous.
And staying with the National Assembly, following the abduction of over 200 students in Kuriga community in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution asking the National Security Advisor to enforce the act passed for the National Counter-Terrorism Center, as well as the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. The House, through a motion by Honorable Ahmed Munir, expressed concern that despite the 3.25 trillion naira allocated to the defense and the security sector, there has been no respite as bulk of the actions by security personnel are reactionary rather than proactive. The House further asked the federal government to remove the military from the restrictive envelope budget system. And we continue with the Kaduna school abduction. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the immediate establishment of a new police mobile force base and deployment of special forces to Kuriga community in Kaduna State following the recent abduction of 287 school children from that community. The IGP gave the order during a visit to Governor Ubasani in Kaduna, where he explained that the police authorities, in collaboration with other security agencies, will adopt both kinetic and non-kinetic approaches to free the abducted children. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Education, who was also in Kaduna, has described the abduction as a major setback in the efforts to curb the menace of out-of-school children.
It is 6 days since no fewer than 287 school children were abducted by bandits at Kuriga community in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. The attack has been generating reactions and has also raised concerns about the government's Safe School initiative. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, arrives Kaduna State to meet Governor Ubasani over the unfortunate incident. He is accompanied by some senior police officers. The IGP assures the governor that the police leadership is working with other security agencies to ensure the safe return of the children.
Your Excellency, I want to assure you that the police leadership and indeed the leadership of all security agencies in Nigeria are as concerned as you are over the safety of these children. And we are going to do everything possible with you to ensure that they return safely.
The police boss also outlined some of the strategies for the rescue of the victims and forestalling a future occurrence.
I have instructed the AIG PMF to immediately deploy a unit of PMF to that community, if only to give confidence to the people. The men will be deployed, and with the support that you have pledged to give, I'm sure that the community will start to feel safe again. We are launching the Special Intervention Squad for Kaduna State.
Governor Sani thanks the security agencies for their intervention, promising to give them all the support to ensure the rescue of the abducted students.
We are extremely confident that the school children, by the grace of God, will return back home safely. And of course, we will do everything to ensure that we work closely with the relevant security agencies in Nigeria to ensure that our children are back home safely. And I'm also happy with the decision by the Inspector of Police to quickly deploy mobile base in our Kuriga community.
The Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Tanko, also visited Governor Sani over the school attack, accompanied by some senior officials of the ministry.
It's our belief that what we have right now, the over 20 million out of school children, which Mr. President prioritized in the 8-point agenda to get them back to school, the attack on school is a major setback.
Lately, there has been a resurgence of school attacks by bandits, primarily targeting children in the northwest and northeast regions. This underscores the imperative for security agencies to reassess their operational strategies and devise more effective measures to combat the scourge of banditry and kidnapping in the area.
In part two, after the break, Army troops uncover a factory used for manufacturing of guns and other security materials in a forest in Delta State. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Weekend coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Rowdy session in the Senate as the upper chamber wields the big stick, suspends Senator representing Bauchi Central Abdul Ningi for 3 months following heated debate over his claim of purported budget padding. Inspector General of Police orders a new police mobile force base and deployment of special forces to Kuriga community in Kaduna State as bandits abduct another 61 people in fresh attack on Kajuru, also in Kaduna State. Army troops uncover a factory used for manufacturing of guns and other security materials in the forest in Delta State, arrests 8 suspects, including the main suspect, his parents, and his sister. And 3 Ukrainian-based Russian paramilitary groups say they have crossed into Russia and are now fighting government troops there. At least 61 people have been reportedly kidnapped by bandits at Buba village in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. The incident occurred in the early hours of today while the villagers were still sleeping. The police authorities have not confirmed this attack, but the councillor representing the ward, Abubakar Buda, told Channels Television that the bandits stormed the community in large numbers and immediately moved from house to house to kidnap the residents while shooting sporadically. It says that the timely intervention of the military prevented the bandits from taking away more people, noting that some members of the community sustained varying degrees of injuries while trying to escape. According to him, more security operatives have been stationed in that community to avert further attacks by the bandits. The attacks are coming barely 5 days after bandits invaded Kuriga community in Chikun local government area, kidnapping 287 school children from that community. Right here in Lagos, a 40-year-old woman, Halima Akintola, has been arrested by the police over alleged abduction of 3 pre-nursery children at a school in the Ijegun area of the state. According to the police, detectives from the area reacted to a distress call by the headmaster of the school that some unknown persons invaded the school, abducting 3 children from the premises. According to the state's police spokesperson, Benjamin Hundei, the suspects were giving a hot chase and one of them was arrested while the children were rescued and reunited with their families. Mr. Hundei also adds that other suspects escaped with a registered motorcycle on citing the police. Operatives of the 63 Brigade Nigerian Army have uncovered a factory used for illegal manufacturing of guns and other security materials in the remote forest in Onitsha-Olona community in Anyocha North local government area of Delta State. The commander, 63 Brigade, Brigadier General Ugochukwu Unachukwu, led a team of Army officers to that site where they arrested 8 suspects, including the main suspect, his parents, and his sister. According to the army, the factory manufactures about 10 guns a week, which are already handed over to armed robbers and IPOB members for criminal activities. In a statement, the army explains that the troops neutralized 2 of the fighters who engaged them in a gun battle.
Yeah, but it's working for them.
Commander 63 Brigade, Brigadier General Ugochukwu Unachukwu, leads a team of its officers to an illegal arms factory at Onitsha Olona in Anyocha North Local Government Area of Delta State.
This is where they mount and be watching the whole area.
Upon arrival, they discovered that the factory has a surveillance post, a generating set connected from a remote location, an oven for melting of iron, and a cache of arms and ammunition.
These people are the operators.
The prime suspect is 22-year-old Emmanuel Ebuka, who claims to have passion for constructing drones and arms.
When I was a kid, when I was at 12, I started practicing on drones, on things that fly, sir. And then gradually I do have this scene whenever I dream. In my dream, there's this white man on white that do come and take me to an arm factory in the dream. So I woke up the first day, I told my dad. I said, somebody came in the dream and took me to an arm factory and was teaching me things about weapons. So that time, it happened to be that there's one instructor in NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy. He came to our house because he's my daddy's friend. So when he came, I told him about the dream. He then said, maybe I'm having a connection with something that has to do with this. I then said, but I have never had anything to do with weapons. But if I see it, it always looks like something that I've used, like something I've worked on before.
His parents and siblings, who were also apprehended, insist the guns and arms are not manufactured and sold to criminals or legitimate security personnel.
I'm not involved in it.
You're not involved in it?
I was farming there. My wife is even there. My petenia is there. So I went to collect it. So my son called me that I should go and rest, not to have my stress.
They repair for the vigilante, and they also repair for the police.
The army displays some of the items recovered, an implication of such act.
This is supposed to be a house, but it's part of the factory. I will take you in now, then before I walk you down to the main factory where the manufacturing is ongoing. Gentlemen, we will question those guys. You will hear from them the quantum of weapons they are manufacturing, both for the insurgents and for armed robbers in Delta State. So these people here are major contributors to the insecurity, not just in Delta State, but even across southeastern Nigeria and neighboring states here.
In all, 8 suspects involved in the family business have been arrested and are to be handed over to relevant agencies for further investigation and prosecution.
In other stories, the president has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to enhancing maritime security and safety in the Gulf of Guinea. President Bola Tinubu said this when he received the special envoy of the president of Equatorial Guinea, Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, at the State House in Abuja. According to the special advisor on media and publicity to the president, Ajurin Gilali, the special presidential envoy and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Simeon Oyono Angwe, had conveyed a message from President Mbasogo requesting a state visit by President Tinubu and emphasizing the need to revitalize the Nigeria-Equatorial Guinea Joint Commission. Responding, President Tinubu reaffirmed the long-standing bilateral ties between Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea, describing the relations as strong and brotherly. Meanwhile, the president has approved the appointment of Dr. Baidayo Moberiola as the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, for a renewable term of 4 years. This was made known in a statement by President Bola Tinubu's spokesperson, Ajurin Gilali. It replaces Mr. Bashir Jamo, whose tenure expired already. Dr. Moberiola was the Managing Director of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, from 2003 to 2015, and was also the Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos State from 2015 to 2016. He holds a PhD and an MSc in Transport Economics from the University of Wales, United Kingdom, and he's a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Transport in England, as well as in Nigeria. Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed that the president is committed to addressing the socio-economic challenges confronting the nation. He said this at a presentation of the book in Abuja, where he highlighted how President Bola Tinubu became president. Our State House correspondent Emperor Simon reports.
Outside the State House, Vice President Kashim Shettima is at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center, Abuja, for the public presentation of a book written in honor of the president. The 349-page book titled Beating on Odds, Diaries and Essays on How Bola Tinubu Became President, written by veteran journalist Sam Omaseye, chronicles the challenges and triumph of President Bola Tinubu in the build-up to the 2023 general election.
This book is significant because it is the first attempt at documenting a momentous period in our recent history. As many we now agree, never in living memory has the nation found ourselves dragged into an electoral contest where religion and region were brazenly weaponized.
A careful perusal of Omasheye's book shows how vision, resilience, and doggedness triumph over the man-made problems erected in his path. Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Vice President Kashim Shettima believes President Bola Tinubu's victory in the 2023 election is divine. He reaffirms the president's determination to make Nigeria better.
He took the bull by the horn and withdrew the fuel subsidy from day one. He was able to collapse the multiple exchange rate regime that gave room for a lot of hanky-panky. And be rest assured that in the fullness of time, history will be kind to him.
With President Bola Tinubu having spent over 9 months in office, guests here say it is now time to focus on governance. The Vice President and the other speakers have also expressed optimism in the ability of President Bola Tinubu to overcome the current challenges the country is facing, as they call on Nigerians to continue to be patient and hopeful for a better day. From the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center here in Abuja, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
We now head over to our Abuja studios, where Victoria Longjan is standing by to give us more on the news at 10. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Anne. Now, Nigeria has huge potential in the production and export of cowpea and sesame, but the rejection of the product owing to their poor storage and transportation to other parts of the world remains a huge challenge. Now, these are the words of the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who was speaking at the launch of the Standards Trade Development Facility in Abuja. The Standards Trade Development Facility is a global initiative that seeks to strengthen food security, animal and plant health capacity in developing countries by encouraging the use of good practices.
Top dignitaries converge on Abuja to mark a major milestone in the history of the country as it taps into the initiatives of the World Trade Organization to boost its trade using platforms and interventions that will accelerate its export and trade potentials. The Director General of the World Trade Organization lists some of its interventions that can benefit Nigeria.
The new project aims to build the capacity of stakeholders across the sesame and cowpeas value chains to better understand market access requirements, to improve agricultural practices such as pesticide application, hygiene techniques, harvest and post-harvest methods, and food safety.
Figures from the Nigeria Export Promotion Council shows that Nigeria is the third largest producer of sesame in Africa, with approximately 500 metric tons produced in 2022 and also produced over 5.2 metric tons of dried cowpea annually. Unfortunately, these two products top the list of export rejects from Nigeria. The Standard Trade Development Facility is a global initiative that seeks to strengthen food safety, animal and plant health capacity in developing countries by encouraging the use of good practices.
To increase the acceptability of Nigerian goods across the globe, Nigeria has also launched the Nigerian National Quality Program under the Office of the SGF, and this is to raise the standard of Nigerian goods. This policy seeks to create the necessary infrastructure that will enhance the trust and acceptability of Nigerian products and services at international markets. This project, STDF 845, will therefore enhance the quality and standard of sesame and cowpea through the institution of good sanitary and phytosanitary conduct, good agricultural and warehousing practices, good packaging and labeling, and also storage system. All these are expected to forestall frequent contract cancellations and loss of business opportunities.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation is excited at the intervention by the World Trade Organization and promises that the federal government will make the business environment conducive for all.
Nigeria remains a leading regional economy with a huge population, market, and other potentials that assure you all that no stone will be left unturned by this administration to put in place robust and dynamic policies as well as legislations to actualize the objectives of the support we're receiving from the WTO, the International Trade Center, and the World Bank.
More collaboration is expected between the federal government, the World Trade Organization, and the International Trade Center. This is expected to evolve into the establishment of trade intelligence units to provide trade data and information for the country. Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
And still ahead on the news at 10, Central Bank raises customs duty FX rate again by 1.9%, following a further drop in the value of the naira. That's on Business News. To join us again. Welcome back to the news at 10. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says his administration is committed to ensuring foreign investors are at ease while doing business in the FCT. Mr. Wike made the commitment during the courtesy visit by the Polish ambassador to Nigeria, Mrs. Joanna Tonowska, at his office in Abuja. The minister also commended the relationship both countries have shared over the years.
Nigeria has had a good relationship with Poland, and we know that we have had a lot of bilateral relationship with Poland. Here in Abuja, we're happy to make sure that all the foreigners are free to carry out their businesses. Abuja is the capital, and you can see how safe it is. It's one of the lovely cities everybody would like to visit. On our part, we are willing to have a collaboration with Poland. I know that Poland is very good in, particularly in agriculture. I know that Poland is very good in agriculture. We would like to see how we'll be able to partner to have some investors who will be able to come here and set up a large farm that will employ our youths, and also the youth to be able to own the farm at the end of the day. So our relationship will be quite cordial. We believe that security has improved. One of the key issues of Mr. President's agenda, they talk about job creation, they talk about improvement of security, and we believe that that is ongoing in the city.
Meanwhile, the popular Wuse market in the central area of Abuja has been gutted by fire. The incident abruptly ended the business of the day around the market area, resulting in gridlock on all roads leading to the market as people were seen running in different directions. On arriving at the scene, policemen barricaded the entrance to the market to prevent people from moving into the facility. Some vehicles in the car park were burnt already as firefighters arrived to put out the inferno. Shop owners alleged that the cause of the fire was due to a tear gas fired into shops, while policemen were trying to apprehend a suspect at the market. And in a similar development, 2 children have died following the fire that razed Muna IDP camp in Jere local government area of Borno State. The fire burnt down all shelters and government buildings, housing thousands of IDPs from destroyed communities. Those affected by the inferno said properties, foodstuff and other valuables were also burnt. It is the second fire outbreak in 3 days at the IDP camp. The Director General of the State Emergency Management Agency says the IDPs are yet to be resettled in their respective communities, but those affected by the fire will be provided relief materials while modalities for their return is being worked out. And that's it from Abuja. It's now back to you, Anne, for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Victoria. To company news now, the West Africa Container Terminal has opened a brand new cargo freight station within the Onne Port Complex in Rivers State. The managing director of the company explains that the move is significant because it aligns with the federal government's drive to encourage export of non-oil products from Nigeria to the rest of the world.
It's a major day at the West Africa Container Terminal within the Onne Port Complex in Rivers State. Officials of the company are set to open their new cargo freight station designed to ease the handling and processing of non-oil goods for export. The managing director explains how the company's moves align with the federal government's drive to increase non-oil exports.
Today we have a historic moment where we have launched the container freight station for all our customers. How is the container freight station beneficial? This will act as a one-stop shop for all our customers where they can consolidate their exports within this small facility out here. How does it help the economy? The Nigerian government's drive to promote export. This will help generate more FX, foreign forex, which will in turn be beneficial for the country and the economy.
I commissioned this project in the name of God.
Cutting the tape to ceremonially open the new CFS, the Customs Area Controller congratulates the company and assures of customs readiness to support them in any way possible.
We thank you and congratulate you for this edifice, and that I will, from the point of customs, say that you have gotten the assurances of the Controller General of Customs to say that whatever it takes at any given time within the ambit of the law for us to play as a role to make you better and efficient and effective at any given time, will not hesitate to do that.
For the commercial manager, the station holds immense benefits to the customers and the economy at large.
The container freight station has a lot of benefits to the customer. It is cost effective, it costs a lot of time, and also ensures that there is as little as possible in terms of waste of time. This facility will help the customers in the non-oil exports. It will also help in directly or indirectly creation of jobs. This facility will also continue to support and ensure that Nigerian produce are also available abroad.
Highlights of the event include group photographs and inspection of the facility. With the opening of this facility, customers are optimistic that the handling and processing of non-oil exports will be a lot easier and cheaper.
In its response to the challenges posed by climate change, the African Guarantee Fund, in partnership with the Nordic Development Fund, has hosted the 9th edition of the Green Finance Conference in Lagos. The focus of this conference is centered on the role of Africa's private sector in the Paris Agreement on climate change, and facilitators are optimistic that the continent has the necessary potential to navigate the evolving landscape of sustainable finance. The collaborative platform also discussed financing challenges and opportunities for green SME projects.
It's a dynamic gathering of key players, including government representatives, development financial institutions, CEOs, NGOs, and green SMEs for the 9th edition of the Green Finance Conference.
Empowered SMEs to generate nearly $5 billion in incremental revenue.
Among other objectives, the international conference aims to provide African countries with enhanced expertise in seeking financing for low-carbon development, a position re-echoed by the organizers.
I assure you of our willingness to work closely with the government of Nigeria to develop specific program and product that will support SME to drive the country.
We are committed to financing green and inclusive, low-carbon and climate-resilient growth of African economies to improve the livelihoods of people and communities across the continent.
A keynote address delivered by the Special Advisor on Climate Change and Circular Economy to the Lagos State Governor, Mrs. Titilayo Oshodi, unpacks the urgent need to create more awareness.
Africa's private sector is a stakeholder in the Paris Agreement and a key driver of its success. African businesses can accelerate the transition to a sustainable climate-resilient future by harnessing the power of entrepreneurship, innovation, and collaboration. Our call is that we work together across sectors and borders.
Private sector operators need to drive the value of all these new realities and birth a new generation of business that is climate resilient and responsive to the environment.
And then comes a breakout session which provides an opportunity for a press briefing with select journalists.
Most of the SME today, they are not able to provide the banks with the type of collateral that they need. And this is where the financial guarantee can play a very important role. So the guarantee is there to kind of replace the collateral that the SME was supposed to provide to the financial institution.
The 3-day Green Finance Conference holds paramount significance for financial institutions as it realistically analyzes existing opportunities and proposes practical solutions to addressing financing for small and medium-sized enterprises committed to green growth and climate-resilient development.
More news. Let's delve into the world of business. Willie Bong is standing by.
Thank you, Anne, and welcome to Business News. Now, in a move that is set to impact trade, the central bank has again raised the exchange rate for calculating custom duties by 1.9% from 1,593 naira 88 kobo per dollar to 1,624 naira 73 kobo. The decision, effective from March the 12th, follows the continued drop in the value of the naira. Also, the 1.9% hike represents an additional cost of over 30 naira on each dollar needed to clear goods at the port compared to the previous rate. Meanwhile, some port users have expressed discontent with the CBN new policy of linking import duty payments to the exchange rate on Form M submission, as this, they say, will introduce more hurdles in an already challenging trade environment. Now, with the challenge of rising insecurity in some parts of the country, experts have recommended ways in which heads of subnationals can attract investments into their state in order to drive their state's economy. The Chief Executive Officer of APT Securities and Fund, Mr. Kofi Garba, who was a guest on our Business Morning program earlier today, proposes some measures that state governments can take to achieve the results.
We had over 280 students were kidnapped in Kaduna. During the former governor, he bring Olam and other company that invested heavily in Kaduna. Today, it's a big company to think of coming to the Kaduna because it shows that it's not secured. These points areas are known. The security challenge, the ringleaders are known. Their location are known. Go and attack them. Don't wait for proactive until they attack you, then you start pursuing them. You will never win a situation where you stay and wait until you attack.
Now, the president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akeredolu, is calling for an end to loans tied to Africa's vast reserves of oil and critical minerals, often used for the production of smartphones and electric vehicles. Dr. Adesina, who made this known during an interview with the Associated Press in Lagos, warns that these deals exploit African nations and hinder proper valuation of their resources. At least 11 African nations have taken such loans since the 2000s, mainly from China and Western firms like Glencore and Standard Chartered. To combat these challenges, Dr. Adesina emphasizes the need for renegotiation and transparent, equitable agreements and fair benefits to safeguard Africa's economic interests. He also proposes the AFDB's Alliance for Green Infrastructure, which aims to secure $10 billion for sustainable projects on the continent. Now let's check out the domestic equities market, which is on a winning streak as the NGX benchmark index records another strong uptick today. Here's Laddie Williams with more details.
Hello and welcome to the stock market report. And just like that, the 100K level is reclaimed. Comfortably so, 103,524 points, 1.45%, a big jump of about 1,479 points, taking it up to 103 there. Market cap, 58 trillion. Let's look at the gainers chart now. We see MTN Nigeria there, 9.98%, recovering from that big drop to about 192 naira. That was in February, and back to the 243 naira level. That's for MTN. We also see one of the Fugas now up 10%, 25 naira 30 kobo. And we have Julius Berger, 61 naira, up 9.71%. All of this adding to the gains that we see in the market today. Let's look at the losers counter now. We see Tantalizers topping that counter, 35 kobo, down 7.89%. It's a widely positive market breadth today with 35 gainers to 14 decliners. That's a stock market report. I'm Laddie Williams.
And that's a wrap on business news. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Will. The Kenyan government has paused a planned deployment of police to Haiti following the Prime Minister Ariel Henry's announcement that he will step down. The principal secretary of the Kenyan Foreign Ministry, Creole Singoi, says that without the political administration in Haiti, there is no anchor on which the deployment can rest. Here's Simon Pusey with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. 3 Ukrainian-based Russian paramilitary groups say they have crossed into Russia and are now fighting government troops there. The Freedom of Russia Legion and Siberian Battalion posted videos purportedly showing their fighters in Russia's Belgorod and Kursk regions. An exiled Russian politician claimed one village in the Belgorod region was now controlled by liberation forces. Russia's defense ministry said the breakthrough attempts were thwarted. Ukraine's military denied any involvement in the cross-border raids. Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry has agreed to resign following weeks of mounting pressure and increasing violence in the country. Mr. Henry is currently stranded in Puerto Rico after being prevented by armed gangs from returning home. In a video address announcing his resignation, Mr. Henry urged Haitians to remain calm. It comes after regional leaders met in Jamaica on Monday to discuss a political transition in Haiti. The country has seen escalating violence as gangs take over, including an attack on the international airport, which remains closed to all flights. Palestinian medical staff in Gaza say they've been blindfolded, detained, forced to strip and repeatedly beaten by Israeli troops after a raid at their hospital last month. A doctor at Nasser Hospital described being held for a week in detention, where he said muzzled dogs were set upon him and his hand was broken by an Israeli soldier. His account closely matches those of 2 other medics who wanted to remain anonymous for fear of reprisals. The IDF has denied any mistreatment of doctors. Meanwhile, a ship taking almost 200 tons of food to Gaza has left a port in Cyprus earlier on Tuesday in a pilot project to open a new sea route of aid to a population on the brink of famine. The charity ship Open Arms was seen sailing out of Larnassa port in Cyprus, towing a barge containing flour, rice and protein. The ship belongs to a Spanish charity of the same name. Exactly where it plans to dock when it reaches Gaza has not been disclosed.
We know that this can't be the only ship, right? We need to have second ship lined up, third ship lined up, which we do. The more food we can get into there, into Gaza, the more safe, the more secure it is, the more orderly it is. But until we see more flow, it will continue to be a bit of a security concern.
The UN human rights expert on Russia has said that the death of Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny was Moscow's responsibility, as he was either killed in prison or died from detention conditions that amounted to torture. Speaking at an event on Russian political prisoners, Mariana Katsarova said long periods of solitary confinement, which she said amounted to about 300 days, could have caused a slow death over several years.
Even the fact that he spent in the past several years 300 days in solitary confinement in punishment cells is already, I have called on many occasions that his conditions of detention amounted to torture and ill treatment. So he was tortured, essentially. It was a slow death over these several years. So the Russian government is responsible, one way or another, for his death. Ever since the death of Alexei Navalny, there is no day passing without asking myself, who is the next Navalny?
Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have been detained in Romania after European arrest warrants were issued by the UK. The allegations cover 2012 to 2015. The Tate brothers categorically reject all charges. Romanian police said European arrest warrants for 2 men were issued by UK authorities for sexual offences on Monday. The alleged offences also included exploiting people in Great Britain. And California highway patrol officers have been seen clearing up an interstate in Los Angeles after cases of toilet paper fell out of a truck. The loo rolls, which were scattered across multiple lanes, caused a temporary traffic jam. Local police initially tried throwing the paper off the road, but later used brooms and brushes to sweep them off the lanes. The road eventually fully reopened a few hours later. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Team Nigeria has increased its gold medals at the 13th African Games to 22 as the country's weightlifters won 6 more gold medals earlier today in Accra, Ghana. Ruth Ayodele won 3 gold medals in the women's 64 kg. She lifted 94 kilograms in the snatch, then 114 kilograms in the clean jerk, which was awarded another gold medal overall with a total of 208 kilograms. Joy Eze also won gold in the women's 71 kg, lifting 90 kilograms in the snatch and 117 kilograms in the clean jerk, and won overall with a total of 207 kilograms. Nigeria's sole representative on the continent, Rivers United, have been drawn against CAF Confederation Cup title holders, USM Algiers of Algeria, in the quarterfinals, with the first leg scheduled for March the 31st. The Pride of Rivers hope to become the first Nigerian side to win a continental competition since Enyimba defeated Hearts of Oak 2-0 after extra time to lift the 2005 CAF Super Cup. Rivers won all 4 home matches to make the last 8, but were less impressive on the road with only 1 victory, a draw and 2 losses. And Barcelona through to the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal after beating Napoli 3-1 in tonight's clash. Barca advanced 4-2 on aggregate. Meanwhile, the game between Arsenal and FC Porto is now in extra time after the game ended 1-0 on regulation time. Both teams are tied on 1-1 on aggregate. FC Porto won the first leg 1-0. And that's sports news. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Senate went into rowdy session today as it suspended the senator representing Bauchi Central, Abdul Ningi, for 3 months following a heated debate over his claim of purported padding of the 2024 budget. Inspector General bandits have abducted 61 people in fresh attack in Kajuru in Kaduna State. This came as Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun ordered a new police mobile force base and deployment of special forces to Kuriga community, also in Kaduna State. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Have a good night.